Alright, hello everybody. I'm slowly playing catch up here over the last few days here with my movie reviews. But today we are going to be, I guess, movie and TV shows because I just finished Peacemaker and then I just watched The Gray Man yesterday. I think yeah, just finished it up yesterday. So slowly catching up, day by day. We're on Thursday and I went to see this in theaters last Friday, so we're slowly getting there. But this is Jordan Peele's, I believe, third film? I think it's only his third film. I guess I have seen the other two, but I'm going to have to rewatch Get Out and Us again because I don't really remember that much of Us for some reason. It's kind of one of those movies that I guess I just watched and maybe didn't pay enough attention to it. But yeah, I am looking forward to actually watching it again because now that I've seen this, I really do like his directing style. And honestly, I thought the second trailer might have given too much away of this movie, just based on the first trailer was kind of um, very secretive about what is going to happen in the movie, and I feel like he does a very good job of that in most of his movies, like trailer-wise. And I mean, I kind of had a feeling this movie was going to be about aliens, just from the first trailer. But then the second trailer I thought gave way too much away about what was happening. But I guess not, because there is a huge twist in this movie. And there's a lot of little Easter eggs, I guess, in the movie as we go throughout, kind of telling the backstory to certain characters. And obviously, we get told the stories of all of the horses that he owns. Uh, Kind of like in a chapter sense with each horse. The main one being Lucky, and then I can't. And then what was the monkey's name in the movie? Um, oh God, I'm trying to think of the chimpanzee's name, and now I can't. You would think that they would probably have it here somewhere. Do 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 do. Oh come on, where is the? Okay, maybe I'll have to look that up as I'm talking here. But yeah, I'm gonna look that up. Just bear with me a moment because my internet is slow. Oh, right, Gordy, that was it. So they tell the story of Gordy, which I guess was kind of like a best friend to the one kid in the movie. Uh, so we have, I'll just go over the cast list because um, Daniel Kaluuya, I guess it would be how you pronounce that name. I hope so. Played O.J. Haywood. Kiki Palmer played Emerald Haywood. Brandon Pereira played Angel Torres. Michael Wincott played Antlers Holst. Stephen Ewan played Ricky Jupe Park. Ren Schmidt played Amber Park. Keith David played Otis Haywood Sr. And I guess that was pretty much it. Oh, and I guess Terry Notary played Gordy. Interesting. So I guess it was an actual human. Just so the monkey must have been, or the chimpanzee was animated. I guess. Interesting. Huh. I didn't even think that was. I didn't really think about that. I guess when I was watching the movie that the chimpanzee was animated, but I guess they did a really good job of making him look real. So, in the very beginning of the movie, that's actually how it starts out. So guess like there was a blue shoe in the middle of the room, and it was kind of confusing learning, kind of getting the backstory to that because it was just like I needed to know about what was going on there. Obviously, between Ricky and the chimpanzee Gordy. So we finally get to the point where we find out that he's pretty much almost like he just goes off, I guess, because they mentioned something about the jungle and they're doing an episode of the show with where it's supposed to be Gordy's birthday, and then eventually he just snaps and starts going like crazy on the people and ends up ripping part of the one girl's face off and then kills the guy who was playing the dad in the show and then he decides to go up to Ricky and almost fist bump him, but then the cops come in and shoot him, which I think was probably the smart thing because I don't think Ricky would have survived, but I guess he just kept staring at the shoe. And we were looking up the Easter egg there Sunday night when I was out for a fire at my buddy's house, and we were actually talking about the Easter eggs and stuff. And I guess the shoe was supposed to represent the fact that he thought he was special because the chimpanzee never hurt him, which I find kind of odd because I think it would have probably ended up ripping him from under the table, but I guess we'll never know because the chimpanzee got shot, which in that case was probably for the best because I think it would have just kept killing people because it was just that angry. So I guess when he grows up, he believes that because he's special, the aliens won't hurt him. But we find out the little plot twist, and I'll get more into that in a little bit. But first, OJ's dad actually ends up dying in the beginning of the movie when he takes a coin to the head falling from what we think is just an airplane, but it ends up being the actual spaceship. Or is it a spaceship? Because as we get further into the movie, OJ starts to realize that with the help, I guess, of obviously Angel, their tech guy, and first impressions of him, I kind of got the fact that he was kind of slightly a little bit racist towards the two of them, or maybe he's just really kind of condescending. Oh my God, towards people, I'm not really sure, but it kind of felt like he was being, yeah, like a little condescending to them by saying they really didn't know how to set up their tech, which I find kind of weird because, I mean, I guess he was maybe trying to help, and he figured what they were trying to find was an alien life form, and I guess he was really kind of into that thing. So he ends up becoming good friends with them actually throughout the movie. Yeah, he ends up becoming good friends with Angel and Emerald, or not OJ and Emerald. Jeez. And they're trying to land this commercial spot with their horse, but nothing seems to be going quite right. And obviously, it seems that Emerald has a whole bunch of stuff on the side, and she's not really focusing on just the horse business, which is what OJ obviously wants to focus on after the passing of his father. And as we get a little further into the movie, Angel finds out that the cloud that is actually at their house, at their farmhouse, hasn't moved or isn't moving when he's fast forwarding the film. The camera is never, or the cloud is never moving. So he picks that up, and I think that was just after their first encounter with the ship, or what we thought was a ship anyway. So then they're trying to figure out how to fool it, I believe, and they end up the ship ends up being up like a fake horse statue, and it ends up spitting it out at one point. But the interesting part was actually finding out that the ship, the so-called ship, was not actually a ship. It was actually a creature itself. So it was actually eating whatever it was taking up with it, right? So it ends up spitting up the fake horse, the horse statue. And obviously when when Ricky is bringing everybody in to see the alien, I guess because it had sucked up tried to eat the horse statue the day before, it obviously wasn't satisfied with that. So he's been feeding it horses this entire time because he believes he's special and the creature won't hurt him, right? Well, it hadn't eaten the day before, and it shows up an hour early, as opposed to when it was supposed to regularly show up. Usually they would be waiting an hour, and then the horse would walk out, and it would just eat the horse and go off on its own way. But this time, it ends up coming over top of them and sucking up all the humans because it hadn't eaten the day before. And I guess looking at the creature is what makes it angry and wants to eat you. So if you don't actually look at it, I guess it won't consider you food or a threat, I suppose. because obviously it's a little bit higher on the food chain than us humans are, right? So yeah, the one scene after that was when the alien goes back over top of the house and just kind of like pukes up all the blood from all the humans it's eaten the day before and whatever else, like their keys and all that other kind of stuff. Yeah, so very, very, um, very interesting concept for an alien movie because I don't think this had ever quite been done before. And obviously they're trying to get like the money shot, so they end up hiring this Antlers guy, right, to come in and get this shot. And it seems that every time anything electrical is near the creature, it is able to shut it off through what kind of like a, I don't know whether it like emits like almost like an EMP sort of thing. But then this TMZ guy tries to break onto their property when they're finally trying to get a shot of it. And Antlers gets a little too, I think, overzealous, and he's really trying to get the money shot or whatever, and ends up getting eaten himself. And then Angel is smart enough to actually wrap barbed wire around himself so the creature will just spit him back out. So he definitely deserved to live. And then obviously we have OJ trying to distract the creature, and it kind of transforms like into the in the driveway or whatever when um, it's chasing them on ground. It ends up just transforming, which I thought was kind of weird. And then she's trying to get a shot of it with the little camera at the park or whatever that they had set up. I guess it was like the supposed to be like the movie poster type thing that Ricky had in his room for some sort of movie he had done or television show he had done, besides what he had done with Gordy, obviously in the when he was a child. So they had that kind of set up like a Western theme park almost, I guess. And then obviously the alien attraction as well. So yeah, she's trying to get a photo of it with that, and then she sends up the one giant balloon um, from the from the theme park, and it ends up eating the balloon and blowing itself up. So kind of a very interesting ending to the movie, I would say. And I guess the three most main people survived, and I guess Ricky found out that he wasn't actually as special as he thought because obviously he ends up getting eaten. And it kind of sucks because he actually ended up bringing the one girl from the show that he did with the Gordy into like to see the alien, and she ends up getting eaten. So I think she'd already suffered enough by that point. I think Ricky probably should have kept her away from that because you never know what could happen. You might think you're special, cool, but don't drag a bunch of other people into don't drag a bunch of other people into it, right? And that's what he ended up doing. So he pretty much got probably most of the town ended up getting eaten, I would say, was what happened there, which is just like, wow, crazy that he was so caught up in the moment of thinking that he was some higher power that he ended up just getting a bunch of people killed in the process. Because I was even kind of confused during that scene when they were all being sucked up into the ship. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. We're going to get to see some aliens, and then turns out that was the alien. So a really big twist, obviously. And I don't think there was. It kind of definitely ended like it was like that wasn't the end of the film. So I didn't stay past the credits. So if there was an end credit scene, I kind of looked it up on YouTube after, didn't see anything for it, so I don't think there was. There was a little Steph Curry commercial thing, but that was all I could find. So I don't think there was actually any real post-credit scene or end credit scene in that movie. But yeah, I would say this was definitely worth the watch. I think Jordan Peele is a good director, and he always seems to have kind of the same. Definitely, he has Daniel Kaluuya in all of his films. Um, I believe so, or at least he's had. I think he's had him in at least two, if not all three of his movies. Um, I don't remember Kiki Palmer being in any of the other ones, but she was a good fit for this movie because she was kind of like a spunky, charismatic person, and he's definitely always kind of seems like the quiet loner type in most of the movies that he's in. And I know he's trying to run a business, but he's not the most sociable person it seems in most of his movies. So, kind of interesting that they were two very different people, even though they were brother and sister. And he was trying to carry on the family legacy and she was trying to kind of do her own thing, I guess, while also trying to carry on the family legacy in a bit. And um, I guess they had family um, in film from the very first 2 second picture, which was a black man riding a horse. So I guess they kind of had their staple sense moving pictures were a thing. So it was kind of cool to see their family history and them kind of trying to continue on and make like a bigger spectacle each time they were trying to film something or trying to get their foot in the door with commercials and so on and so forth and that kind of thing. So there was a lot of layers to this movie, I would say, and it was definitely a twist on the whole alien thing because I don't think anything quite like this had been done before. I mean, sure, we've seen aliens that have been creatures, but I don't think we've ever thought of the ship being the actual creature that is just eating stuff. And who knows if it was an actual like alien um, or whether it was just something that had been on this earth that had maybe been dormant for so long, and then it just ends up kind of like what's happening now. We seem to always be having like new breeds of animals and creatures and so on and so forth. So who's to say this wasn't kind of like a Godzilla concept where it was dormant for so many years and then it just comes back to life and then maybe it goes back to dormancy once it's had its fill, sort of thing. So kind of interesting to think about. There, I definitely kind of a couple concepts you can think about there for what this thing could possibly be. And this movie actually got pretty good feedback from what I'm seeing on IMDb as far as ratings go. So it got a 7.5 out of 22,000 people rating it, and I gave it an 8 out of 10 because I thought it was that good. I don't quite think it was like a 9 or 10 out of 10, but definitely an 8 out of 10. So I would say it is a movie that is a good one to go watch for like a later show with a group of friends because that's what I ended up doing. So yeah, definitely a good film to go and do that for. And I guess that's all I can say about this movie. And I will see you guys in the next review. Bye bye for now.